Hi everybody, this is Lainey from Hilltop Home Place. I'm doing something different today on my channel that I've never done before, but I found a little property out in the country, not too far from me, that I'd like to just show the people on the internet. I always see other channels featuring properties and I think it's a great idea, but I also see that a lot of people, when they are leaving their big cities, when they're deciding to move to the country, I just see a lot of interest in certain parts of the country, Tennessee, what have you. And I understand that. I understand all the benefits of those states, but there's also benefits to looking at other places like Louisiana, where I live, like Mississippi, Alabama, and other places. A lot of people flock to Texas, Tennessee, Florida, places like that. But there's a lot we have to offer here in Louisiana. This property caught my eye one day when my husband and I were riding down this country road. And I told him, I said, you know, it's not out of the picture for us one day to move farther out into the country. And I hope something like this would come up for sale if we ever did get to where we were going to do that. But we're not ready to do that. But I did want to show the viewers this in case anyone is looking for a property that will make a good homestead, that'll be kind of versatile. And I think this little place has it out here. Let me just show you and I'll tell you what I know as I go. And I'm gonna give an honest review of the house when I go in, because I think it's important for you to get honest opinions. The house was built in 1972, so it's a little outdated, but that's okay if it's clean and it's a good house. And I'm gonna give you my honest opinion on it. I think if people are gonna move from another state, if they're going to see a video like this and even consider something, that they need to get the honest opinion of the person giving this review of the place. And you don't want anything to be misleading and to waste your time and your money to check it out. So I'm gonna just tell you everything as I see it. I'm gonna start with the get-go. There's a very nice mailbox there. You wouldn't have to buy a mailbox. The entrance to the driveway is very well done. It's solid. You're not gonna have to worry about pulling out onto a bumpy driveway, or you're not going to have to worry about installing a driveway, which is very important. I did a video on our move called Details of Our Move and what it cost us or something like that. And I encourage you to go watch it because it gives little details like that. When you're looking at a total price, you have to consider the fact that a lot of things are included in the prices of these properties that are already ready to go. If you were buying vacant land, yes, you might could get it much cheaper, but then you're going to need cash as you go to put in things like a long, nice driveway. Look at this driveway here. It's very long and it's already graded. It's already got gravel on it. And as I stand on it, I can tell you it's solid. It's not all muddy and squishy. It's very good. This front yard is huge. I don't know the exact boundaries of this property, but I'm assuming that that fence line over there that's right in front of those trees is the boundary. And you can see that this is a wide open front yard that goes back to this house. Wide open. Instead of going the driveway, I think I'm going to go through the yard. This has some beautiful oak trees all along the driveway. Mature, already pretty, ready to go. That's such a plus. My thought from the road was that this front yard could be fenced in all the way around and you could have cattle or horses appear in the front yard. I didn't realize until we drove back here that they actually do have a wonderful fence around the front yard. I may be seeing some more fencing back there. I'll check that out in a minute. This fencing would be great, I believe, if you had goats or sheep or things like that. The metal goes all the way down to the ground and some of it's even buried under dirt. So that would help from animals escaping. And it goes all the way around this large front area in front of the house, all the way to the back. I'll check out the back in just a moment. But that right there is thousands of dollars worth of fencing that you wouldn't have to put in if you had animals. A lot of people, when they're moving, they already have animals and they need somewhere quickly to put them. So this is fantastic if you had to quickly even put a cow, even if you just had a milk cow. But if you definitely had some goats or things, this is somewhere you could put them right now. and you wouldn't have to spend any money. This was very well done. The driveway area widens out up here, so there's plenty of room to turn around, to back in trailers, to do whatever you need to do here. The driveway starts being asphalt when you get up by the carport. It's a little rough. This part has some holes in it. Probably make it a little bumpy when you're driving down this. I think though, this could easily be patched. I would not think you would need to redo this area at all. You could probably get someone to just come out here with some hot tar and patch these holes, and it would be good as new. Here's the gates that go to the front little pasture area. They look like they're in good condition too. So I'm in the front yard. Have some beautiful oak trees here. Looks like a crepe myrtle over there. And this is the front of the house. It was built in 1972. It's 1,565 square feet. The roof looks pretty good to me. I don't see any horrible areas. There may be just a couple of shingles that look like they might be needing replaced, but I'm no expert on the roofs, but it looks pretty good. You can usually walk up to a house and tell when it's got a lot of roof damage. I don't personally see it, but that's something you would need to get inspected. The front door could use a little TLC. If you didn't want to have any type of animal door there, you would probably just need to replace that whole door. But it could use a little TLC. They do have reflective glass windows on here, so that might help with heating bills and stuff because the sun doesn't come in there and absorb into your house. A little cleanup around the outside would be good. But there's a lot of little stepping stones here that if you used them a different way, if you curved them, if you made other little smaller beds, you would already have your stepping stones here. I kind of like to think of things like that because anything that you can avoid having to go to the store and buy, it's always a plus. And I just realized I'm walking on a sidewalk. So it does have a sidewalk that goes up to this front door. The sidewalk kind of ends right here, but you could extend it if you needed it to. Walking around to the carport area, I believe you could definitely get 2 cars in here. Probably one on that side of that pole, and then another car definitely here, and also if you had a 4-wheeler or a side-by-side or something like that that needed parking, you would have enough room for that. It's pretty wide carport. Now the fencing that I showed you around the front, it actually goes all the way around to a little corner there, and then it comes across the back of the property to this corner and corners off. They have a little above ground pool back here. I don't know that would need to stay. You could easily get rid of that if you wanted to and have more of a backyard back here. But that's what they have right here, right now. Looks like satellite systems for the TVs. You probably would have to have satellite TV out here. There's not probably anything like Cox cable or anything out here. I don't know how any of the systems work. That would all need to be checked out. To me, it looks like the sewer system is partially right there with maybe a separate motor that's over there. And I actually can hear it running, so it seems to be running okay. But all these systems would need to be checked out. The inside pretty much looks just like the pictures on Zillow. This house was built in 1972 and hasn't been updated a whole lot. However, it's not beat up a whole lot either. It's in better shape than I thought it would be in. The floors are in good shape. They're older, but they're in good shape. The countertops, while it's not what would be there now as far as granite and all, it seems clean. I don't see a lot of big holes in any type of the formica or anything. And the shape of that little island is actually pretty cute. Appliances, dishwashers, and all that may need to be checked out really good or replaced. Your hood vent, all things like that. That's things that just come up when you're dealing with an older home and you might want to have them checked out. This is where the refrigerator would go right here. So all these systems would need to be checked. Right here, it doesn't have a door, but there's a closet that used to be here. And they have that with shelving for a pantry. which actually just a simple little curtain rod at the top with a curtain on it would be all you needed there to cover this up. But it's actually a good little space to store a lot of food, canned food, jarred food, really nice. Walking back here, this little area, I guess, would be your washroom. Yeah, would be your washer and dryer. Again, I would check all that out before you do anything. There's the breaker box for the house right there. And where this wall is right here, from the outside of the house, there's actually a door that would need to be replaced because it's warped. But that is what goes into a little hot water heater closet. The hot water heater looked pretty big and decent, but that's where it would be. You'd access it from outside of the house. Right off of the washroom is a door that goes to a bathroom. There's the other door that goes out towards the hall. This is the bathroom that you can see on the internet. And that's a tub shower situation over there with a shower bar on it. Everything would need to be spiffed up, updated, however you want it to be. But looks clean. Nice big closet in the bathroom. There's another closet here in the washroom. Had a lot of things in it, so I'm not going to open it, but it has a lot of extra storage in there. Walking back around through the kitchen, this would be your dining area. It's at least 10 foot this way, and I would say about 12 foot this way. So it's plenty a big area to put a nice little table and chair set. It's no problem. From the dining room, going into the den area. It's actually a pretty big sized den. The window here on the front looks out to the front yard. That would be your view from this den window, looking out to your front yard. Very good view. That's a built-in cabinet there. Could leave it if you need a lot of storage, or you could just remove it and have a couple extra feet there. If you had a wall TV, it would give you a couple of extra feet to just take that out. Corner over here with a wall that a love seat could go against or something. You would need to reevaluate the fixtures a little bit. They're older. I probably would replace all that. On the other end of the den is another little room. Could be a home office, could be an extra little living area, sitting room. It may have been a bedroom at some point that they just closed in to make this extra living space because they didn't need an extra bedroom. So that's something to think about. But you have that same view out of the window of your front of your property, so that's nice. Looks like a decent little air monitor on here. Need the system checked out. Here's the first little guest bedroom here. And the closet in the corner. And this view is also your front yard. It's hard to tell with the glare, but it's a beautiful view. And then this would be the master bedroom. With a bathroom attached. These views from these windows would be to the outside, right-hand side of the property, and to the back out of that window. And that's the master closet. Has a mirror on the door. That's the hall that I just went to the bedrooms at. When you come down the hall, there's the door here that goes to this guest bathroom. And from there, you could turn and go back into the washroom and the kitchen. I'm going to turn and I'm going to go back this way through the den and through the kitchen. This is the view of the kitchen as you come in. Different view than I gave you a while ago. Lots of counter space though. I try to look at the good and bad and everything. Yes, it's a little outdated, but there is a lot of counter space. A whole lot. More than I have at my house. And there's a lot of things that I think would be just fine to live with as they are for as long as possible, because there's a lot of things you just don't, you have a lot of cabinet space, in other words, what I'm saying. Why spend a lot of money just to put in, say, shaker cabinets or something like that? You can always change the doors out and things like this if you just absolutely don't want these doors or something anymore. But a lot of times these older cabinets are fairly well built, and to get by and to save money on your new homestead, your new place, sometimes it's just good to go with what you have for a while. And in this kitchen, you do actually have a lot of storage. There's more of a backyard. I'm gonna assume this fence line here is the back border of the property. Right there is your water well system. It looks fairly new. Always get those things inspected though. And this building right here has an overhead door in the front, but it also has an overhead door in the back. So if you needed to drive your tractor out of the back to go do something, you could. Or if you wanted to park a car straight off the driveway into it, you could. But it's a nice little serviceable shed. Right next to that shed, which is, to give you an idea, this shed is right off the carport of the house. And it does have concrete that angles up to where you could drive something straight into it. That's a bonus. But right by that, there's another building, which used to house the home office of their business. You could, if you needed to, fix this up to be a mother-in-law suite or an extra bedroom for older kids or something. I'm gonna go in there real quick and look at it. The outside needs some spiffing up. It needs some just debris cleaned off. It needs some siding along the bottom, the skirting replaced. Definitely I would go underneath it and just make sure that everything is the way it needs to be. The awning looks all right. The posts that are holding up the awning look sturdy. They're not bowed. The awning doesn't appear to be sagging or anything like that. So that's a good thing. It looks structurally sound. There's a lot of ventilation vents along the top to keep it aired out. If you were gonna buy this place with the intent of this being a living quarters, I would just assume that I would need to put some money into it to make this comfortable, livable. You know, it may be something you could do down the road, but you would need to put some money into it to make it nice out here. Okay, the glass on the door as you enter this is gone. They've got it shimmed with plywood, but it's gone. The porch is not right up to the house as I would want it. It's got a little bit of an area there. I think you would need a threshold there. When you walk into this, you're just walking into what used to probably be their business office. When you open the door to your right, there's another room. They've still got some debris they need to clean out in here. It's a nice little room. The light's on. I'm gonna turn that off. You know, it's a nice sized little room. If it had to be one bedroom, one spare bedroom out here, definitely would need the flooring replaced. The flooring in this building has been well loved. I would definitely replace the flooring. Turn that light off. And this door is not in the best shape. This door, it's not warped, but I would definitely trim out this building and make it nicer. There's two more rooms down at the other end. I'm just not gonna walk down there, but there's two more rooms down at the other end. Basically, I would gut this whole little building, floor, trim, things like that. It's just cheap trim and stuff from some of these little conversion shed builds they have. And I would come in it, gut it, and make it look really nice. The ceiling looks okay though. The ceiling in every room looks okay. It basically is 3 bedroom size rooms in here that were used as offices. And then this front room here, that could be just kind of like a little entry area. Next to that extra building, there's a big carport area. This would be a great place because it's tall, it's very tall, to park a camper. There is a loft area about 22 feet back or so. So you would have to consider that as far as what size camper you had. But this height of this gives a lot of different options for you. Over here, to the side of the tall part are 3 bays that could be used to park things under. This bay still has some exposure to the elements, but it does have a cover. This bay and this bay are completely covered and have some side panels too. All you would get would be something that would blow in from the front side. But this is very nicely done. The joists look good. The metal looks good on it. I don't see anything peeling off. And then this part over here is made out of steel beams. So very well done. If you have extra equipment like boats, 4-wheelers, side-by-sides, a camper, this would be invaluable. I'm looking from the shed area, this is the back of the property here, to the little extra shed. Over there, under the tree, is the shed you could drive a tractor up into. There's the house, and then I'm looking out on the view going to the road. And it's absolutely beautiful. And I will tell you that I've barely heard a car go by while I've been here. I'm hearing one now, but there's really not been hardly any traffic. The soil up here in this part of Louisiana, some of it can be red dirt. A lot of it is clay. This area of Louisiana doesn't have a lot of loamy, soft soil. We do have a lot of clay soil, but a lot of farming goes on in this part of Louisiana. On this road across the street, I think there's some type of farm. And then down this way, I just passed a dairy farm. So there's lots of options. And this 14 acres is beautiful. It's high and dry. I will tell you, this is high and dry. You're high elevation wise, but you're also on a hilly road and you're on one of the hills, and your property has a good slope to it. So to me, it looks high and dry. I wouldn't worry about that at all. A lot of people do worry about that coming to Louisiana, but I would not worry about that on this property. It's peaceful, it's country. You can let your kids run around the front yard. You have plenty of room to ride a 4-wheeler, a side-by-side, a golf cart, whatever you want all over this property. It's just beautiful. Dealing with the house, I would say this whole property is probably like a diamond in the rough, but you're gonna have to polish the diamond a little bit. For the price, it's $305. It's come down $15,000. I don't know anything about whether it's more negotiable, but the house will need some spit shining. It is livable as it is. I say that, but I would have all the systems checked out, because anytime you're dealing with a house that's been built like in the 70s, even 80s, you want to have the systems checked out. And you want to make sure that breaker boxes and things like that are all up to code so that you're not at any risk. I would change out some of the fixtures, the light fixtures. Some of them just need replacing immediately. A few of them are working. I turned lights on and off when I was in there, and a few of them are working, but they're outdated. Just to kind of spruce it up, I would do that. Also, it's very dark going down the hall. There's a lot of dark paneling in the hall and a lot of dark trim work. However, for people that have a vision, that's easy to fix. If it's in good shape, that's easy to fix. Some kilts, some paint, some elbow grease, and you could have a light and bright house. And I see the potential in this one. If I had walked into this house and I had smelled mold, or if I had smelled anything that made me wonder what's behind the sheetrock or whatever, I would say something. I did not. I did not even really smell an old smell when I was in there. This house is vacant, so sometimes that happens. It just smells musty. I didn't really smell musty when I walked in, so that's a good thing. That tells you that there's not a lot of moisture in that house that's causing trouble. I would say that every surface of it needs to be cleaned. Every cabinet needs to be wiped out. Every closet needs to be completely wiped out. If it were me, I would take that pool out of the backyard ASAP. It's not been used. It's got dirty water in it. I would definitely take that out of this backyard, and then the backyard would feel twice this big. And when I say the backyard, I mean this fenced in area. You have more property on this side of it. I did not mention that there's a nice gate here. So you could put a puppy or whatever back there, and you have these gates to keep it from going on the carport. Since your sewer system is located inside this fence and right kind of in the middle of the other side of the backyard, you really can't come in here and grade it and do a whole lot of concreting or things like that. But you have a concrete porch here, and it's still in good shape. It's not got any holes in it or anything. I can see just edging around it, putting some pots of flowers out here and a little patio furniture, and that would be that. And your air conditioner is sitting on concrete of this patio, so that's good. You would need to mow, clean up, and just kind of make this area livable back here. And if you did use this fenced in area for goats or sheep, I would probably come in and put another little section of fence to keep them from coming onto your backyard, your little back patio area. You know, you have to have a little separation from goats and sheep, or they'll come eat all the plants you put out here and all. But I would probably just put a simple fence from, say, the back corner of the house over to behind that pool where the fence is, and then fence that off. Okay, this is the house, the back corner of the fence. I'm sorry, you still have backyard back here. This isn't the back property line. This is just the back of the fence that wraps around the house. You have a backyard, and there's a T-post fence all along here. Swinging back around, there's a fence that goes here. There's also a T-post fence along this lane back here. There's kind of an open lane. There's a big fence here, a little opening with a gate, and then a long fence here that goes all the way to the road. Now, these pine trees that are back here were planted 7 or 8 years ago. Usually people will log pine trees around here about every 15 years. So they have a few more years left before you could pay somebody to come log them for you and get paid. But that's an option. If you want to do that, look at that as income that'll offset the cost of the property. But back up in those pine trees is another little lane that's been cut, and there is a pond back in there. I did not walk back there, but there is a pond back there. So it was pretty far into those woods, and I just didn't walk it, but I just want to tell you that it's there. But you do have woods and a pond. You have lots of open space. You have a pre-gated area that's huge for small animals. Still have plenty of backyard back here, and then the 3 structures that way. Big, beautiful front yard and tree-lined driveway. So nice. Another look at the house. The drive-in metal shed that could be for a car or a tractor or truck. The extra building that was formerly an office needs some work, but it could be made into whatever you need it for. A home office, a mother-in-law suite, extra space for kids to hang out, whatever it is that you need. Or it could be just a glorified storage shed if you wanted to make it into that. And then this big shed structure with a loft, 2 whole bays, and a 3rd bay that's open at the end, but well built and wonderful asset. Looks great. This tree line here would be your side property line on this side. Someone else owns on the other side of it. I said I would give you my honest opinion about this home place, and I have. Being out here is so peaceful. It is, I think, a diamond in the rough. It will need some elbow grease on the house. It will need some cleanup in that spare building, that office building. Those are things you don't have to do right off, though, as far as the office building. You could delay that for years if you needed to, if you don't need that space. Don't want to put out the money right now. But I'm going to tell you about what it would need. It would need a lot of work. But I tell you what, if I was a little bit younger, if I had a little extra help, this would be a place I wouldn't mind buying, because you don't find places with this much cleared land. You're not going to come and have to rent equipment and come in here and do anything. It's cleared, it's graded, it's sloped off, it's got mature oaks on it, lining the driveway and in the front yard. It's got wonderful fencing around the front yard for small animals that could come right on the property with you right when you move. It's got wonderful driveways. There's a driveway to this big bay shed behind me, and there's a separate driveway to the house, but they're both connected by a rock driveway, so it's just like a big U. And it's just wonderful. You won't have a lot of trouble mowing this because it's just lots of straight lines. You're not going to have to go around 400 pine trees. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Curb appeal wise, this is wonderful and could be a wonderful home place for somebody. I'm going to put all the information that I can in my description, from the Zillow link if I can put it in there. The realtor's name is Kim Doty, and she would work with you in any way, shape, or form if you wanted to call her. She's been very nice with me. I picked this out to feature on my channel, and she's cooperated with me just like crazy. And so I'd love for you to give her a call if you like this property, or you know anybody that is looking for a property that might be open to being in Louisiana. This is Lainey from Hilltop Home Place. If I think of anything else, I will add it in a pinned comment, but I appreciate you joining me for this little tour of this country property. I'm in St. Helena Parish. This is Highway 1043. It's in the country. It's to the west of Kentwood, but it's a good one. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. This is the view leaving your driveway.